Howdy race fans, welcome to my little show about racing I like to call In the Pits with me, Stock Car Scott. And as always, In the Pits is brought to you each week when I feel like it by Monte Carlo Express Delivery. Monte Carlo Express Delivery has been serving the Puget Sound area courier needs for over a decade now. Please like us on Facebook. Well, let me put this away. Okay, Friday was busy, so I didn't see much practice there at Watkins Glen. There was, I saw a little bit here and there, but I didn't record any of it. The only thing that I recorded Friday was a really excellent Southern Modified race there at the Madhouse at Bowman Gray Stadium in North Carolina. Any race at one of NASCAR's oldest tracks is always a good race to watch, and this one was no exception. So if you get a chance to see it there on NBCSN, be sure to, because there was lots of beating and banging, almost as much as there was during the Xfinity race on Saturday there at Watkins Glen. Yeah, Saturday's Xfinity race was a road race at Watkins Glen, and it is the first of 3 road races on the Xfinity schedule. The entirety of the race was a battle between Penske teammates Joker Logano and Bad Brad Keselowski in their Mustangs. But that is not to say that there wasn't any action going on behind those 2 Penske pilots. There was a lot of rooting and gouging back in mid-pack. Regan Smith got used up a couple of times, once by his teammate Chase Elliott and again by Ty Dillon late in the race. After the race, Regan Smith, who was feeling, used up there, lost his mind, having only finished 20th. And he went over to the 5th place finisher, Ty Dillon, and started pulling on Ty's hat and on his fire suit. Luckily, people pulled the 2 drivers apart before Ty Dillon whooped Regan Smith's butt, But anyway, Boris Said was there. And all of his Said heads, I'm sure, were in the stands there at Watkins Glen. And he finished 4th in the Toads number 54 Monster Energy drink Camry there. And the highest finishing of the Xfinity regulars was not Ty Dillon, no, but points leader Chris Buescher, who finished 3rd. Second in points, Chase Elliott was 7th, and oh yeah, Bad Brad was 2nd, and his Penske teammate, the Joker, won the race. So, after the Xfinity race there at the Glen, I headed down to South Sound Speedway, even though it looked like it was going to rain. And boy, howdy, am I glad I did. I sat out in the rain just for a little while and, sat through it. Boy, howdy, I am glad I did. A light rain came just as I sat down and got settled, and as I folded everything up and started for the car, it quit. So I returned, got settled down again, watched the big tire get dragged around the track and the new little blower there on wheels go to work. That was nice. And the track people did a great job of never losing the track. So maybe next time, if I happen to get down there and it's raining, I'd gladly volunteer the Monte Carlo for track drying duty. Drive around and around, but my help was not needed Saturday night. One reason was because they put the bumblebees out there on the track for their heat race and their main, which helped to get the track even more ready again for the other 2 divisions that ran that night. When the track improved, the super late models qualifying was completed, with Parker Stevens in his Miller 200 defending number 4 Platinum Motorsports Chevy set fast time and rolled the big die for a deep 11 car invert. An invert young Stevens overcame quickly to battle up front for the majority of the race. Chad Hinkle in his number 33 Lexar Home Chevy and J.J. Hamilton in his number 11 Chevy seemed to provide the closest competition for Stevens as the Miller 200 played out. Other favorites that completed the 18-car field included number 17, Bob Presley, number 2, Tommy Elstone, number 3, Wayne Dillon, number 90, Molly Helmuth, 91, Alan Kress, 92, Tommy Rasmussen, 95, Carolyn Thomas, and the Honey Badger number 20, Andy Soule. Let me get me a little drink, wash that frog down my throat. You know, I always have to get me a drink with my Sterling Marlin class there. But Rasmussen had brake problems that put him out of the Miller 200 real early, way too early. Carolyn Thomas also had problems, and she finished many, many laps down. The Evergreen regulars that were there, Molly Helmuth, had an engine grenade on her, and Andy Soule got in a wreck. But it was still a very good race to watch, even with the heavy attrition. J.J. Hamilton spun early in the race, but came back to run up front in the second half. During the last laps of the Miller 200, Hamilton was all up into Chad Hinkle, who ran well all night, including leading a number of times during the 200 lapper. But Parker Stevens in his number 4 Platinum Motorsports Chevrolet had the field covered. By race's end, he had about a half lap, a third of a lap on Hamilton and Hinkle battling for second. So the evening ended with Parker Stevens repeating his win from last year, followed by J.J. Hamilton and Chad Hinkle in third. Number 2, Tommy Elstone, had a best finish ever in the Miller 200 of 4th, and Alan Kress rounded out the top 5 in his number 91. The Miller 200 was a really fun race for the fans this year, so be sure to check it out in its entirety on my YouTube channel. Just scroll down a little bit. Also, Saturday night before the big super late model Miller 200 was a 30-lap Legend main, and that was definitely my biggest thrill of the night. Maybe biggest thrill of the whole season. When I saw with my binoculars, because my eyes aren't what they used to be, on the rear panel of Kevin Conway's number 36 Legend car that he's just started driving is a message that told everyone, watch In the Pits with Stock Car Scott on YouTube. I was floored. It was wonderful. It was awesome, folks. Of course, a huge shout out goes out to Kevin Conway. It is great to have him back at South Speedway. During introductions, Kevin got one of the loudest, longest cheers because folks remember him from his days racing mini stocks there at South. It was Kevin's first night in the Legend division, and so, as he told me, his first goal was to finish, which Kevin did very well, missing several wrecks in the early portion of the race. I am sure once he gets more seat time in his new ride, Kevin will be battling up front of the pack soon enough. They don't call him the Warrior for nothing, folks. Aye, all right. Oh yeah. Anyway, and in the Legend 30-lap main, number 5, Garrett Archer won over division points leader number 24, Tristan Hayter, in second, and the number 16 of Dwayne Swanson, second in points. He finished third. The next legend dates are during the Dennis Smitham Memorial 100 race weekend, the 5th and 6th of September. And I will be there to cheer Kevin on to a good finish, if not something even better. All right, okay, but this weekend, this coming weekend at South Sound Speedway will be limited late models, mini stocks, Super 4s, Baby Grands, and the Stinger 8s. But I will be at Evergreen Speedway in Monroe this weekend because the K&N Pro West Series 150 will be happening, along with a 100-lap super late model feature. It should be some good racing. Many of the K&N teams will be running the new NASCAR modular panel style cars that look more like the Gen 6 cars there in Sprint Cup. The old style cars can still run, but they have to run with a weight disadvantage. I'm looking forward to seeing the new cars in action and the up-and-coming new drivers who pilot them. So go, folks. Go see this race. It's going to be a good one. It's going to be the closest thing that we get up here to big-time NASCAR racing. And even though it's only like their AAA division, but you should still take advantage of this, folks. This opportunity to see future NASCAR stars like Brandon McReynolds, Nicole Bayer, Braden Havens, and all of these folks in good racing at a reasonable price. But back to last weekend, before I get way too far away, just a little bit more South Sound Miller 200. Like I said, it was a great night, fun night of racing, and all that sort of stuff that goes with it. It was well worth waiting out the little bit of rain that we had to suffer through. And even with the rain, I was able to get home before it was too awfully late. So, shout out time for South Sound Speedway. Shout outs go out this week to Mike, Marilyn, Todd, Sarah, Brian, Tim, JJ, Tommy, Kevin, Kevin's mom, Parker, Tristan, Andy, Nathan, thanks for your help, Nathan, Jana, Mike, Butch, Kirby, and everyone that works at South Sound Speedway who make the racing there so much fun. And also another shout out to a race fan I just happened to see yesterday while I was out doing that courier thing. So a big shout out goes out to Vicky, one of my loyal viewers here on In the Pits. And what the heck, I'll give a shout out to her husband, Dennis, too. Y'all know who Dennis is. He's last year's mini stock series champion there at South Sound Speedway. I knew you folks would watch. So, Sunday, I got to watch the Sprint Cup at the Glen. A.J. Allmendinger was on the pole, but instead of winning his way into the chase like he did last year, Allmendinger suffered from lack of speed on race day, along with engine gremlins. Happy Harvick led the most laps in the number 4 Budweiser Chevrolet, but ran out of Sunoco race fuel on the last turn to be passed by the Joker and the Toad. So Happy finishes 3rd, the Toad finishes 2nd, and Joker Logano wins at Watkins Glen. Wait, didn't I just do that story? Well, anyway, Dale Jr. had a fair day. He's running in the top 5 some of the time, and he finished in 11th. My wife's favorite driver, Greg Biffle from Vancouver, was 14th, while her other favorite driver, Casey Kane of Enumclaw, was out early. And folks, he's sliding right out of chase contention. He needs to get him a win or something soon, or he may not be in the chase. And speaking of the chase, with his 2nd place finish, the Toad is in the chase for now. But only as long as he remains in the top 30 in driver points. So we shall see. Next weekend is Michigan for Sprint Cup on Sunday, along with Camping World Trucks on Saturday. Remember the last time Cup was at Michigan? Kurt Busch won, but his toady little brother finished last. And if that happens again, the Toad would probably fall back out of the top 30 in points. So again, we shall see. The Xfinity guys are road racing again this weekend at Mid-Ohio, so tune in to see if Regan Smith loses his mind again. And I don't think I like that, because he drives for Dale Jr., so he'll be tearing up Junior's equipment going after Ty Dillon, another one of my favorite drivers there. Well, if what he does is too blatant or too crazy, hopefully Dale Jr. will fire Mr. Smith. Well, Reagan's veiled threats that he threw out there of he won't win a championship this year should make the remainder of the Xfinity season very interesting. Also, this weekend, NASCAR should be commemorating the passing of Elsie Wiley Baker Jr., the first person to pilot a stock car past the 200-mile-an-hour mark at a tire test at Talladega, and the winner of the fastest Daytona 500 on record. But I knew Buddy Baker as a highly competent race announcer as I began to watch and enjoy NASCAR many years ago when he was on CBS Sports and also the Nashville Network. Please check out my clip from 43, the Petty Story, an old movie that I posted a little clip out of it there on my YouTube channel there that shows Buddy Baker's acting chops. So he gets the big laugh with his one line there in the movie. Folks, Buddy Baker is a class act that will be missed. So, that's it for this week. As always, go see some racing this weekend. Like I said, South Sound has limited late models, Super 4s, and along with mini stocks and Stinger 8s and Baby Grands. But in what is probably the biggest race of the season locally, the K&N guys and gals come to Evergreen Speedway for 150 laps of racing on the big 5/8 mile, along with 100 laps of Speedway Chevrolet super late models to boot. Yeah, K&N Pro West is our chance up here in the boonies to see a real NASCAR touring series once a year. So you should really go check it out. But if you don't, NBCSN will show it the following Thursday. But go see it. That way you can see how exciting stock car racing can be. Then you can watch it later and say to yourself, I was there. And you know, that is where I will be this weekend because, as always, I am Stock Car Scott, and this is In the Pits. Thanks for watching, folks. Be sure to check out my YouTube channel for other shows and mucho racing video. So, until next week, folks, go to a race. Go see a race. It's fun, folks. Go see a race. Thank you for watching. Again, thanks for watching. Talk to you next week. Thank you, race fans.